Hey there and welcome back. Juggling work and studies. You're clearly someone who's serious about self-improvement.
Absolutely.
And in today's world, who isn't looking for an edge right? We thought a deep dive into Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People could be just the ticket, especially if you're aiming to boost those all-important workplace soft skills.
It's a classic for a reason. Even in 2024, with all the tech advancements and changes in how we work, Covey's principles still hold up surprisingly well.
They really do. But here's the thing. We're not just dusting off the old copy on your shelf. We've got some fresh takes for you, pulled from a recent YouTube conversation.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, between 2 entrepreneurs who revisited the 7 habits and got into some pretty interesting debates about their relevance today.
One of the things that really struck me was their discussion around habit 1, be proactive.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It's not just about taking initiative, it's about thinking strategically, like a chess player instead of a checkers player.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Break that down for us.
Well, one of the entrepreneurs who's actually killing it in the tech world admitted that he's a master of proactivity in his business.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but in his personal life, not so much.
Oh, I see.
He was talking about how he knows he needs to be more proactive about his health, meal prepping, scheduling workouts, that sort of thing. But he keeps getting stuck in reactive mode, grabbing takeout after a long day, skipping the gym when things get busy.
So he's thinking 10 steps ahead in the boardroom.
Yes.
But when it comes to his well-being, he's reacting to whatever's right in front of him. I think we can all relate to that.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of this deep dive. We're taking these classic principles and seeing how they play out in the real lives of successful people today.
And hopefully finding some inspiration for our own lives, right? So where does habit 2 begin with the end in mind fit into all of this?
This one sparks some real debate in the YouTube video, especially around its relevance for younger people. One entrepreneur argued that it's tough to begin with the end in mind when you're still figuring out your path, exploring different options, changing majors 3 times.
That's me right there. I mean, how can you map out your route when you don't even know the destination yet?
Right. But the other entrepreneur had a really interesting counterpoint.
Okay, what's that?
He said it's not about having a rigid 5-year plan. It's about defining success on your own terms. What are your values? What kind of impact do you want to make? What brings you joy?
So it's more about having a guiding compass,
Yes,
even if the specific landmarks change along the way.
exactly. And even if you're just starting out, asking those questions can help you make choices that are aligned with your goals, even if those goals are still evolving.
That makes so much sense. It's like, even if I don't know what specific job I want in 5 years, I can still focus on developing the skills and experiences. That will make me a strong candidate in my chosen field.
Right. And Covey has this great quote about avoiding the activity trap.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that one.
He says it's easy to get caught up in busy work, tasks that keep us occupied but don't actually move us closer to our goals.
Ouch, that one hits close to home. I've definitely spent too many late nights on projects that, in the grand scheme of things, didn't really matter.
And that's where begin with the end in mind comes in. It's a reminder to take a step back, assess our priorities, and make sure our actions are aligned with our ultimate vision.
I love that. It's like a mental decluttering for your goal. So how do we take that clarity and turn it into action?
Well, that brings us to habit 3. Put first things first. And Covey gives us a fantastic tool for that, the time management matrix. It's a classic tool that's just as relevant in the age of Slack notifications and endless to-do lists as it was back in the day.
I bet.
Yeah.
Okay, refresh my memory. How does this matrix thing work again?
It's all about prioritizing tasks
Yeah.
based on 2 key factors, urgency and importance.
Yeah.
You've got 4 quadrants, urgent and important, not urgent and not important, and not urgent and not important.
Got it. So like a deadline-driven project would be urgent and important.
Yes.
While planning for a future goal might be not urgent, but still important.
Exactly. And the key takeaway here, the one that those entrepreneurs kept coming back to, is the power of quadrant 2, not urgent and important.
Ah, yes, the land of long-term thinking and strategic planning. The stuff that often gets pushed aside when the inbox is overflowing.
Precisely. But here's the thing. Those quadrant 2 activities, things like professional development, relationship, building personal growth, those are the things that ultimately lead to greater effectiveness and fulfillment, both in our careers and our lives.
For sure. So how do we escape the tyranny of the urgent and make time for those all-important quadrant 2 activities?
Well, one of the entrepreneurs had a really simple but powerful suggestion. Start saying no more often.
Easier said than done right, especially when you're trying to impress your boss or prove yourself in a new role.
True, But it's about being strategic with your time and energy. Saying no to low-value tasks or commitments that don't align with your goals frees up space for the things that truly matter.
It's like that saying, you can do anything but not everything.
Exactly. And the time management matrix can help you figure out what to say yes to and what to politely decline. A great challenge for you is to track your time for a week, just to see where you're really spending your energy. You might be surprised at how much time gets sucked into those not urgent, not important activities.
Ugh, I can already feel the guilt creeping in.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to habit 4. Think win-win. Now, this one really resonated with me because it's all about finding solutions that benefit everyone involved.
It's a powerful principle, especially in today's collaborative work environment.
Totally. And it's not just about being nice or letting people walk all over you.
Absolutely not. One of the entrepreneurs in the YouTube video actually pushed back on the idea that win-win means always compromising or giving in. He said it's about approaching negotiations and interactions with the mindset of creating mutual value, finding solutions that address everyone's needs and interests.
So it's more about expanding the pie rather than just fighting over the slices.
Exactly. And he shared a story about how he used a win-win approach when negotiating a deal with a major client. Instead of just focusing on getting the best price for his company, he took the time to understand the client's needs and challenges. And they were able to structure a deal that benefited both parties in the long run.
I love that example. It
Oh.
shows how win-win thinking can actually lead to more successful and sustainable outcomes.
Absolutely. It's not just some feel-good philosophy, it's a strategic advantage.
Okay, so we've talked about being proactive, setting clear goals, managing our time effectively, and approaching interactions with a win-win mindset. But there's one crucial skill that underpins all of these habits.
And that's the focus of habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood.
The art of listening. Something we could all probably use a little more of in this age of constant distractions.
Yeah.
But how does this habit translate into tangible results, especially in the workplace?
Well, one of the entrepreneurs shared a story that really brought this home for me. He was talking about a time when he was having a serious conversation with his son, and instead of truly listening to what his son was saying, he fell into the trap of autobiographying.
Oh, I know that one. It's like, when I was your age, totally guilty of that myself.
Right. And he realized that by constantly relating the conversation back to his own experiences, he was missing out on the opportunity to really connect with his son and understand what he was going through.
That makes sense. It's a powerful reminder that listening isn't just about hearing words. It's about understanding the emotions, the context, the frame of reference behind those words.
Exactly. And in the workplace, that ability to truly understand your colleagues, your clients, your stakeholders is crucial for building trust, resolving conflicts, and creating a more collaborative and productive environment.
I see. So it's not just about being polite or nodding along. It's about actively engaging with the other person's perspective, even if it's different from your own.
And that brings us to some of the specific techniques that Covey recommends for becoming a more effective listener. Things like mirroring, which is simply repeating back what the other person said to show that you're paying attention.
It's like a verbal nod, right?
Exactly. And reflecting feelings, which involves acknowledging and validating the emotions behind the words.
Okay, so instead of jumping in with solutions or advice, we should first focus on creating a space where the other person feels heard and understood.
Precisely. And those simple techniques can make a world of difference in building rapport, fostering collaboration, and creating a more positive and productive work environment.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right, we're on a roll here. What's next?
Habit 6, synergize. This one's all about the magic that happens when people with different strengths and perspectives come together to create something greater than the sum of their individual parts.
Okay, I get the concept,
Yeah.
but I think a lot of people struggle with actually achieving synergy, especially in the workplace. It often feels like more of a buzzword than a reality.
And that's why the entrepreneur's conversation was so insightful. They talked about how they've actually built their entire business on the principle of synergy. And they shared some really practical tips for making it work.
Okay, I'm all ears. What's their secret sauce?
Well, first of all, they emphasize that synergy doesn't happen by accident. It requires a foundation of win-win thinking and seeking first to understand. When we're all on the same page, when we value each other's contributions, and when we're open to new ideas, that's when true synergy can emerge.
So it's not just about throwing a bunch of people in a room and hoping for the best. It's about creating an environment where collaboration can thrive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And one of the things they talked about was the importance of intentionally seeking out diverse perspectives. They actually bring in people from completely different industries to their strategy meetings just to get fresh insights and challenge their own assumptions.
That's brilliant. It's like cross-pollinating ideas.
Right. And they said it's amazing how often those outside perspectives lead to breakthroughs that they would never have come up with on their own.
That makes sense. So even if you're working on a team with people who are very different from you, there's still a huge opportunity to create synergy.
Absolutely. It's about leveraging those differences, seeing them as strengths rather than obstacles.
I love that. It's a reminder that diversity isn't just a feel-good HR initiative. It's a key driver of innovation and success.
And that brings us to the final habit, which is all about ensuring that we have the energy and resources to keep showing up as our best selves, both personally and professionally.
Okay, hit me with it. What's habit 7?
Sharpen the saw. It's about self-renewal and continuous improvement in 4 key areas: physical, spiritual, mental, and social emotional.
Got it. So it's like a holistic approach to self-care, making sure we're taking care of all aspects of ourselves so we can be more effective in all areas of our lives.
Exactly. And one of the entrepreneurs shared his personal framework for sharpening the saw, which I thought was really inspiring. He makes sure to get in at least 200 active kilojoules of exercise every day. For him, it's all about hitting the gym or going for long walks in the botanic gardens.
Wow, the botanic gardens. That sounds like a win-win for physical and spiritual well-being.
Right. And he's also really into meditation and spends time connecting with nature to nurture his spiritual side.
I love that he's found practices that work for him and has made them a non-negotiable part of his routine. But what about mental sharpness? Any tips for that?
He's a big advocate for journaling and reading, always trying to expand his knowledge and challenge his thinking. In fact, he mentioned that he's even considering doing a podcast episode on a topic they know nothing about, like astrophysics, just to stretch themselves and learn something completely new.
Now that's what I call a deep dive. I can't wait to hear that episode.
Me too. It just goes to show that Sharpen the Saw is all about embracing continuous learning and growth.
So it's not just about taking a break or indulging in a little self-care. It's about actively investing in our own development so we can be more effective in the long run.
Exactly. And it's not just about individual growth either. The entrepreneur also talked about the importance of the social-emotional dimension, wanting to understand people on a deeper level and make a meaningful contribution to society. He's even planning on giving a talk to the Asian community in Sydney to promote unity and understanding.
That's fantastic. It's a reminder that sharpening the saw isn't just about self-improvement. It's about using our enhanced skills and insights to make a positive impact on the world around us.
Absolutely. And that brings us back to the core message of the 7 habits, that they're not just a set of rules or techniques, they're a philosophy for living a more effective, fulfilling, and meaningful life.
I love that. So to recap, be proactive. Begin with the end in mind. Put first things first. Think win-win. Seek first to understand. Then to be understood, synergize and sharpen the saw. 7 habits that can transform your life, even in the fast-paced, ever-evolving world of 2024.
And it's not just about achieving success in the traditional sense, it's about becoming the best version of yourself, both personally and professionally.
I couldn't agree more. But before we wrap up our deep dive, I want to come back to something those 2 entrepreneurs said at the very end of their conversation. It's a real aha moment for me. They were talking about how Covey didn't explicitly include learning how to learn as one of the habits.
Oh, right.
But they argued it's the meta habit, the foundation that underpins all the others.
It's so true. Think about it. To be proactive, you need to be constantly learning and adapting to new situations. To begin with the end in mind, you need to learn about yourself, your values, and what truly matters to you.
And to really synergize, you need to be open to learning from others who have different perspectives and experiences.
It's like learning how to learn is the ultimate life hack. It's the key to unlocking your potential in any area of your life, whether it's your career, your relationships, or your personal growth.
Especially in today's world where everything is changing so rapidly. Technology is evolving at warp speed. There's a constant influx of new information, and the skills that are in demand today might be obsolete tomorrow.
Exactly. The ability to learn effectively, to adapt to new situations, and to continuously update your skill set is more crucial than ever before.
It's not just about acquiring knowledge. It's about applying that knowledge, making connections, and constantly seeking out new challenges and opportunities for growth.
And that's where developing a growth mindset comes in. It's about embracing challenging as opportunities for learning and seeing setbacks as temporary bumps in the road rather than insurmountable obstacles.
It's about having that insatiable curiosity, that drive to keep exploring and experimenting and pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone.
And that's what those two entrepreneurs embody. They're constantly learning from their experiences, their mentors, their peers, even their competitors. They're not afraid to ask questions, to admit when they don't know something, and to seek out new perspectives.
And that's what makes them so successful. They're not just relying on what they already know. They're constantly expanding their knowledge base, their skill set, and their network.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the 7 habits, here's a final thought-provoking question for you.
What will you commit to learning and mastering this year to become more effective in your work, your studies, and your life?
It could be a new technical skill, a soft skill like communication or negotiation, or even a deeper understanding of yourself and your values.
The possibilities are endless. The key is to be intentional about your learning, to make it a priority, and to find ways to integrate it into your daily life.
Remember, learning is a journey, not a destination. It's about continuous growth, adaptation, and evolution.
So keep exploring, keep experimenting, and keep sharpening that saw.
Because as one of those insightful entrepreneurs said, the more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know, and that's what makes life so exciting.
Until next time on The Deep Dive, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.